Okay, this is Meri at the Meri Atelier, and I'm in the process of ironing the wax off of my batik piece, but just the top layer. There's still wax on here. Hi, Pam. I thought I was unlisted. Hi, Mrs. Gigi. I thought I was unlisted. Well, since I have your attention, I will let you know what I'm doing. I am in the process of ironing the top layer of wax off of my batik. Welcome to everybody who's come in. I thought I was unlisted. Obviously, I wasn't unlisted. Let me go to live chat here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is live. That's okay. Let me show you where I'm at here. I've done some, I'm experimenting, and I was going to come back on and show you guys something I learned. See how this sticks between my papers? I have 3 layers of papers here. It's not so bad there. I have wax paper under here to protect my tabletop. But it sticks. So what I was going to come on and show folks that the way I don't want it to stick is to pull it while it's still hot. I'm using an encaustic iron gifted to me by Lizzie Brewer, bless her heart. And I am just in the process. See how that's coming through there? That wax coming through. Now, I don't know if I will still have enough wax on here to get the crinkles in it like I want. But I know with it being so waxed, let me pull this off. See, if I get it nice and warm, it pulls off nice. If I don't have it nice and warm, well, let me zoom out a little. You guys aren't seeing everything. There, I think that's a little better. If I don't have it nice and warm, it tends to want to stick. And the 2 papers want to stick and it tears. And I want to save my papers because I'm thinking I can use this for galaxy paper later. And it'll be a nice sheet in my wax paper roll. So, what I've been doing is ironing off the top layer, but there's still a lot of wax on here. I could see when I go like this, I know that has wax on it. And I'm thinking once I get this top crunchy layer off, that I can crunch it all up again and ink it. But I'm not so sure about the inking process. We'll see. If I don't get the crinkles in there, I don't care. So let's go back, see how this has already cooled off and it's becoming hard to pull here. It's becoming hard to pull. Hi, Nashwa. Hi, Tommy Joe. Welcome, Tommy Joe. You are lurking while you art. Well, that's perfectly okay. So I'm just going to take another side of this paper where there's no wax, and I'm going to heat that all up. And I'm using this encaustic iron. I don't know. I figure if I have an encaustic iron, it's for the wax. I'm not using an iron. I'm using this because Lizzie sent it to me. And I like it a lot better than my mini iron because it's nice and strong in here. On my mini iron, it is not strong in there, and I like to bear down. And on my mini iron that I have, my little mini craft iron, this part is weak. And I'm afraid that I'm going to break it. So now I've got that nice and warm. It should pull better. Let's see. And it does. Well, maybe not in here. Let's get this apart. It got a lot of wax on the edge. Here. I don't know much about batik. I'm learning, so if I don't get the ink marks, I'm not going to cry about it because I'm learning. Maybe I'll get ink marks on the next one. We'll just keep going here. I thought this would, I was going to put this whole thing into a standalone video because I don't know who's live right now. But obviously I goofed and I went public. I didn't want to go public. I thought I set it for unlisted. Let me pull this first. See, when it's nice and warm, it pulls fine because the wax is warm. This is my bead design that I did the other night. And even off of this bottom layer, look at that bottom layer of wax. And I don't have this nice and warm yet. But this is still, well, it's a little, it's getting better in here. So I don't know if I'm even going to put ink on this. I'm going to kind of try to get Rosemary's opinion on. I might just do a small piece and work with the ink crinkles. Maybe watch some videos. See, it's stuck here. Well, a little. I can work it off. But it's still, it's nice and stiff in here. Let me refresh my chat. Hi, Mrs. Gigi. Welcome. So, can I get it off here if I work with it? Yeah, I'm going to turn this piece. Let me take my iron and my paper and just, not much is coming through on the bottom yet. Let me think here. Let me get a fresh piece of tissue. And can I take this apart here? Or just maybe take the bottom layer. I need 4 hands here. Let me take the bottom layer and put it up here on the top. And this is what I've been using for to put my iron on. This little piece of masonite came from Johnny. Well, of course, I've got wax right in the center. Let's pull this down a little. Like that. And let's put my bead back. And I'm going to wax this part right up in here. I put it on really super thick. I don't know if I should have put it on that thick, but see how thick this is in here? It has really almost obscured the design. If you look in here, this is the design. This still has wax on it. See, I can go like that. And that's what makes me think I can still get crinkles in it with my dye. But I'm not sure. I'm just going to keep working. I might just skip the dye one on this and experiment with doing the dye process here, because I know if I put dye on this, it will still resist it underneath because there's still wax on it. It will never get the little dye creases on here unless I stop, but it will still resist it. So I need to learn about how to put the dye pieces on. And this piece is almost, this paper is almost covered. I've got one spot right up in here. Now, can you guys see? Did Angie come in? Hi, Angie. I know you can't stay. You have your 6-year-old great nephew here, and you haven't seen him since January. Oh, wow. So enjoy your time. Look how waxy that is. Look how waxy. I barely put the iron on that, and that wax just melted right through. Look at that. So that had a lot of wax on it. Let's pull it up while it's still hot. It's not so hot there. Now, let's warm this up a little more. Wow. Let's see if I can't get the top edge here a little bit more in here. That's had a lot of wax on it. And it still has a lot of wax on it. I have to learn how much wax to put on my batik and how much not to. You do this outer layer so that you can get crinkles on it, I think. Oh, wow, that's really waxy. Let's do some more. Wow, it's really coming through. I'm not going to waste my wax. I'm going to make galaxy papers. Let's pull it up here while it's still hot. Look at all that wax on there. Wow. Let's move it over. Hold the phone. Oops, I still have a lot of stuff on my desk. Let's move it over to the corner here. And just so I don't get wax, I'm going to put another paper right here. Well, let's turn it. I'll put another paper right in there. And we want a top sheet. This paper is just about all covered. I'm going to throw that behind me and grab this one. See if I can't get more wax out of this. Which I know I can, because that piece is really, corners has a lot of wax on it. Look at that. Now, I have some things I want to ask Rosemary yet, but I thought I would come on. I was going to do this all offline, or all unlisted, and come back and show this Sunday night. But since you're all here, have fun, Angie, Pam says. Mrs. Gigi says, Angie. There's Becky. Becky, I watched the full stitch. I got about 3 rows done. I'm so enjoying Aunt Beck's Tunisian crochet along. We're learning different Tunisian stitches. Look at that. Wow. And you got to pull this paper while it's still warm so you don't get tears. You want to see the design again here? Let's pull the bottom paper. Here's the design. And I am getting it. I know it's still waxy because I can go like this. And I think at this point I could try doing the ink again, but I'm not sure. You want to get crinkles in your fabric, but I'm not sure. I might have this just saturated with wax to where it will resist anything I put on it. So I may not. And look at the back. This is the back. Look at the back is just as beautiful as the front. This is the back here. That's the back. And this is the front. Isn't that cool? And then after I get it done enough, I'm going to try to take my markers, and I want to work with the head, or I might just leave it and say this was my first attempt at batik. Let's see what's going on. Becky says, I just filled the bird feeders and changed out the outdoor water containers for Bernadette and the strays that need water to drink. Bless your heart. I think Keisha just came on, for those of you who are interested in purchasing. Now, let me look at this. At Keisha's Market, this has a seam in the fabric here. It looks like I did not dye it. I might cut that off. I did not see that seam. Or maybe I could leave it, because here's my border here. And when I did this design, I did not see this seam down here. I'll probably trim that off some, or I could maybe try to dye it now, but it's got a lot of wax on it. Let's do some more. Let's do some more ironing here. Yeah, I thought I was unlisted. I really did. Or I would have said a proper hello. I was going to combine this video with the two first ones that I did, but I guess well, that first one, well, I don't know if I can rearrange them or not. I'll just do this one live and won't upload the other two. Look how much wax I'm getting off. I guess I should have a paper under this. In case I run over. Which I probably would. And this is just tissue paper, packing paper. I didn't want to do it on newspaper because I think I want to use this for galaxy paper. Look how much wax it's getting off there. Wow. And let's take another sheet and put up here so I don't. Where's it's way up here. Hold on. Hold the phone. I need to rearrange this. But my point in coming back on now was, even though this has wax on it, when it cools off, it'll stick to the wax layer underneath, unless it's nice and warm. When it's nice and warm, you can peel it off. See, it's starting to cool there. So let's just warm it up a little so I can pull it off. And I have this in caustic iron set on high. I should be able to pull that now. Nice. And I wanted to rearrange this. But see, it's even sticking to the bottom here. I've got plenty of wax there. Let's go down. Let's move this paper down. Here. Can you guys still see it? Or am I out of frame? Let's move down further. And let's move this in here. I just don't want to get my tabletop all messy. And this is that bottom seam that I missed when I dyed the other night. All right. And we're going to come right across here. Maybe move up a little so you guys can see a little better. And it's torn there. I'm not going to go in there. And the edges have a lot of wax on them. That's what I'm doing now, is the edge. But the reason we waxed the whole sheet, the whole piece, was so that we could get crinkles in it. And I don't think I'm going to get crinkles in it. But I can tell by feeling. Now I have less wax here than I do up here. I can feel how stiff it is up here. It is not as stiff there. So you just, I think I'm just going to continue working with this. And I'm happy with it the way it is. I don't really, because I have so many crinkles in the wings anyway. Hi, Carol. Hello, 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 Carol. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, let me set my iron in a safe spot, which would probably be right there. And I still am okay there. I think I need a, well, we still have paper here. And let's see, this is still pretty stiff up in here. I can see how stiff that is. So let me get a dry piece, move my iron, and we'll iron this out a little more. So I'm not sure if I don't ink this that there was really any purpose in coating the whole piece in wax. The purpose of coating the whole piece in wax was so that you could crinkle it and get a texture. But at this point, I don't think my texture is going to come through. So I'm just going to try to remove as much wax as possible. It's still a learning process of how to remove the wax. So it is not a lost process here. It's just a learning process. This is my first Batik piece. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome, 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 Cheryl. And the other thing, and I've been doing this a lot here, and that works when I have a lot of wax. When I don't have enough wax, I think it helps me to just hold my iron in one spot until the wax comes through, and I heat that up a lot more. So there's different techniques, different things to learn. There's always something to learn. Let's get it more up in here. So I'm not going to be on a long time. I might just finish this offline. And I thought I was unlisted, but evidently I wasn't. I'm just going to come back on. This is my third video. I was going to come back on and talk about heating up the piece so that you can remove the paper easier. Look how transparent. Can you guys see that in there? Look how transparent your wax makes your paper. That's just the oil in the wax. And that's kind of what's fun about it too. Crayolas will do the same thing. Crayolas will do the same thing. Becky says, I just changed into a dress as my pants and tops were just too warm. Well, we've been having cooler weather here, Becky. I need to talk to my brother. Yesterday, you know, you guys heard me talk all about going to the eye doctor at 4:10 in the afternoon. We didn't get home till later. I was tired. We drove into town at 7:15, I think. And by the time we got on, oh, but I have to show you. But by the time we got home and I unloaded the car, you know, it was already 7:45. You know, we drove into town. The bank said 7:15, and then we had to unload the car. But we got there a little early because I wanted to go by the Harvard waterfowl reserve, and I'm on the lookout for goldenrod. Now, goldenrod is the Nebraska state flower. However, the farmers, and I guess I can blame the farmers, they have been eradicating it because they consider it a weed. And I want some for dye purposes. And my brother suggested we go by the Harvard Waterfowl Reserve. And so we did, so we left a little early. And we did see some, so we're going back later today, and I'm going to cut some. And I checked the state laws. I said, in some states, you can't cut milkweed pods and wild plants and that. In some states, there are laws against it. But I couldn't see any posts of any laws against it here in Nebraska. So, we're going out this afternoon. But I also want to tell you, we got there a little bit early. We got to town a little bit early because I wanted to go early. And so my brother said, what are we going to do? And I said, well, you could take me to the thrift store. So he followed me into the thrift store, and of course, I made him hold my baskets and my purse for me. Pretty soon he went back out to the car and had a cigarette, which was okay, you know. But you know what I found? Oh my goodness, you guys, I can't wait to show you what I found. I'm going to hold the treasure piece for tomorrow night. But I also wanted sheets because I'm going to rip them into strips. And I found this channel. I'll have to share the channel with you. It's about crocheting strips of fabric into rug. And I got a big, huge size, whatever, crochet hook. And my sheets, I got maybe 4 or 5 sheets and then some yardages of fabric at the thrift store. And I'm going to be stripping those down. And I'm going to be crocheting. Now, see, I can feel this is getting nice and flexible in here. This is not, it's still got some wax in it, but see, look at the difference. See, I can crinkle this all up and it'll stay because it's wax. I can crinkle this up and it's still a little waxy, but it's not as bad. But then I found a treasure. And so I bought everything I could find of it. And that's the point where my brother said, what are you going to do with all that? And I said, it's for my art. And he says, I'm going out in the car. So I got a thrift store haul out of the trip. That made me happy. And I'm pretty happy with how I'm being treated at the eye doctor place. I have to tell you, they treat me a lot nicer than the dentist. I tell that doctor that he should go into dentistry. They said that he asked me if I ever lived in Texas or if I ever lived down south. And I said, well, we lived in Texas when I was a young girl. I think I was in first grade down in Texas. I had Mrs. Sanders for a teacher. You know where I get all my stubbornness? From Muleshoe, Texas. From Muleshoe, Texas. That was the town we lived in. My uncle ran a body shop. And my dad did bookkeeping for him. And we moved down there to Muleshoe, Texas, and I went to first grade down there. But I wanted to know why did he want to know if I always, you know, my eye doctor asked me if I ever lived in Texas. And he said, well, in your eye, the technician, ran me through every test you could find. I think he took me into every room in that building and hooked me up to every machine. I think I had lights flashing in my eyes. So they said they weren't going to numb them, but he put these eye drops in my eyes. Then he tilted my head, my body and my head way back, and he put this cup over the eye. And he said, now you're going to feel some water going in there, and gushed water. And, well, I guess the water was last, but it gushed when he pulled it up. And I saw this big red dot. He did it to both eyes. Big red dot. And then I saw a black diagonal. In my right eye, I saw a black diagonal there. This big red dot, there was a black diagonal. And then the left eye, there were 3 diagonals. Now, my left eye is worse than the right eye. I guess you guys can't see. There were 3 diagonals. They didn't go clear across. But I asked him afterwards, I said, what were those black diagonals? And he said, those were probably your cataracts. He wasn't sure. But he had a lot of trouble measuring my eyes for the lens. And he went and got the doctor. The technician went and got the doctor. And the doctor asked me if I ever lived in Texas. And I wanted, when I was a kid. And he said, well, it's more common down in Texas or down in the South is what he said. But he said, if the people in the South have a lot of sand and grit, and he has a name for it, and I don't know what the name is, but that was giving him trouble getting a good reading on my eyes to get a measurement for the lens. So we were there a good amount of time. Then I took my brother out for supper because he's been so good to cart me around. We just went to Arby's, had a good old Arby's sandwich. But it was late when we got home, and my eyes did not hurt, but they were tired from all of that. They were tired. Now see, I can feel this is getting much thinner too, but I can still feel wax on there. I think I'm going to wax the back. Let's look at chat. Crocheted rugs, yes. There's a channel that I've been watching. She does a lot of crocheting on the rugs, and she makes a lot of primitive and country type things, I think. I've been watching her crocheted rugs, and she was talking about going to the thrift stores and getting sheets and ripping them up. And we had that. I didn't want to make my brother take me to town just to go to the thrift store. But since we were there anyway, early, and I was surprised he actually went in with me. He actually went in with me until I made him carry my purse and the second basket. I filled my first basket with my treasure. Everything I could find, I filled. It was not expensive either. So, crocheted rugs, Magical Touch says. Carol, she says, oh, Mary, my mom used to do that. They get so heavy. Well, I'm not going to make the big 8-foot diameter ones. I'll just make little rugs that you can. But what she said, Carol, and maybe you can answer this. She said you should never throw your crocheted rug in the machine. Now, is that because, I'm not going to take the trouble, and I don't think she did either, to seam them all up, and if you throw it in the machine, you'll get all that frayed edge and everything. I guess I could ask her, why never launder it in the machine? I guess you take it out and beat your rug with a rug beater, like they did in the old days. Or maybe the rug she did was like 18 by 24, something like that. I don't know why you would not throw it in the machine. Let me go refresh my chat. So, I think I'm getting a lot of wax out of here. It will ruin your washer? Oh, is that they weigh too much for your washing machine? Oh, well, I don't want to ruin the washer, so I will not throw them in the washer. How do you clean them? Take them out and beat them? Beat the dust out of them? Take them to the laundry and do a commercial machine laundry? We don't want to ruin my brother's washing machine. Yep, beat them, Pam says. Well, I probably will not make a lot of them, but I was planning on putting it in front of the sink where it gets a lot of traffic. And they would get dirty there. Let's get this corner a little better. I might have to get another tissue paper here. I'm getting pretty much a lot of wax on these papers. these corners and the edges have a lot of wax built up into them. Oh, I covered up the chat. Hi, Joni. Hi, Janet. Burgess. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm ironing the wax out of my Batik piece. And I can tell, see how flexible? Now, this is still warm, but it's getting a lot more flexible. It still has wax in it. And look at the back. Look at the back. At this point, I think I'll take these wax sheets here, throw them behind me. And where's my stack of sheets? Right here. Let's get it clean. Let's see what the bottom. Oh, let me put the iron over here for a minute. I was going to put more wax on it. I had ironed a piece off and I said, oh, I forgot to ink it. So I was going to put more wax on it. And then I thought, if I put any more wax on here, it'll never absorb any ink in there. Because it's, even this is still waxy. Let's see how these are doing. These are pretty, that one's not bad. Let's turn it over and let me put some clean sheets, at least one clean sheet on this. And I'm going to iron the back of it a little. See if I can get any wax off of the back. And let me get it clean. This is just packing paper that I'm using. You can get it, you know, I don't know if they have it at Hobby Lobby or not, but I get mine at the hardware store. Let me grab my iron again. And now I'm on the back. Push that up a little. Hold it. Janet Nash says, oh, hi, Mary. I'm glad I caught the absolutely love your bee. Oh, thank you. See, I'm ironing the back of it, and it's still pulling wax off the back up there in the corner. Look how much wax is on this. No wonder it wasn't getting any crinkle marks. There's way too much wax on this for any ink to absorb into the fabric. And I don't think I'm going to even try to ink it. I think I'm going to have to do some smaller pieces and learn how to do the crinkles before I attempt it on a piece like this. And there's a lot of wax here in on the edges. Janet Nash says, Janet, I think she's talking to Burgess. I hope your day is going well. You guys, would you check for me and see if anybody in our immediate community who's on live that I might be taking time away from, because I'm just playing. Is anybody we know streaming now? Not a video, not a standalone video, but a stream. Am I taking time away from somebody? It's Saturday afternoon, 12:30, so I thought it would be. Janet Burgess says, my son did not come to help today, so I'm working on my own. Slow. What are you doing, Janet Burgess? What are you doing? Just Keisha. Okay. Well, Keisha's selling, so I'm not going to get off for a sales piece, a sales video, because she'll go all night. Keisha will go all night. I love Keisha. I like Keisha, but I would never be able to come on for the rest of the day if I waited for her to get off. Janet says, just be careful, Janet Burgess. What are you, oh, you're doing storage? Are you in a storage bin? Are you packing a storage bin, or are you clearing out one? Maybe he'll show up and help you. It can be some heavy stuff. Joni says, Janet Nash, hello. So I can't wait to show you guys what I got at the thrift store yesterday. I got a novel to read. I've been reading the Mitford series. And this is the one where they're taking care of the farm while his friend is over in Ireland, I think. Meadowlark Farm. And so I started reading that. I didn't get too far. Let's pull this while it's still warm. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of wax off of it. There was really no purpose to wax this, I don't think, unless you were going to ink it. So basically what I'm learning is how to iron wax off. Because I'm not going to ink the... I think I got way too much wax on here to ink it. Joni said, I need to stay away from Keisha. I love her, but it could threaten the strength of my husband's love of me. Yeah, I know. I'm having to watch my budget now for a couple of weeks. You know, you just need to be careful. I did buy Joni's composition book video, and I bought Rosemary's Batik kit. But I bought that from YouTube money. YouTube didn't pay me for a month, so I got paid for 2 months in September. So that helped. See how much wax I can still get off of, and I'm doing this corner again that I did over here. There's just a lot of wax in that fabric. It really saturated it. But again, the reason you wax the entire piece is so that you can crinkle it and get ink through the crinkles. But I think I got too much on because it's so saturated that no ink is going to get through, so I'm pulling the wax off. But it's a good learning experience of how to do this. And I think I'll read up more. I have not read the history of Batik, and I have not watched any videos or read any articles of it other than what Rosemary has done. And so I think I want to learn more about getting those crinkles, those ink crinkles in there. Seems to be pretty good in here. Carol, I'm glad you were able to go live. I don't know if she's still here, but I'm glad she was able to go live this morning. I saw her sign on, and then I fell back asleep again. Saturday mornings, I kind of sleep in. I kind of do that on Monday mornings. You got to have some mornings that you sleep in. All right, it's getting better. It's definitely not as stiff. Let's do some down in here on this edge here. Janet says, oh yes, and that is Monday, Janet. So this will have to dry again. It dries. I'm not going to put ink on it, so it's pretty dry the way it is. It's hot. When you iron this off, it's hot. It's not wet. And you're getting the wax. When you pull this off, if I would leave this and let it cool, it would be dry. It's hot. It's not wet. If that makes it, I guess the wax might be a little wet, but it cools off right away. If I didn't pull it right away, if I let the paper cool on this, it would stick and tear the paper when I tried to tear it off. So I'm going to read up on batik, see what I can learn about it, learn about the process of doing it, the process of making those inky wrinkles. I know what Rosemary is doing. It's sort of like your, when you use glue, your crackle. You know, you use Elmer's glue, and you create the cracks on it, and then you paint over that, and it makes a crackle. That's sort of what you want to do with this. But I think I have too much wax on it to do it. So I'm gonna learn about how to iron wax off of here. And I think too, if I hold my iron in one spot for a while, you don't want to burn your paper, but I think it heats it up more, so it melts the wax better. It's not so much wax in there. I think I'm getting it pretty good in here. I'm still getting some to come through. There's a lot on the edges here. Probably could get more. See how that line shows? That's off of the edge. A lump of wax in there. Keisha is very tempting, made by Pam. Yeah, Pam, I saw you're opening your box the other day, your Keisha's haul. I watched your video, Pam. I will say I got a couple of stencils for 50 cents at the thrift store. You want to see it? It's getting there. It's getting thinner. And I'm getting all the crusty wax off. Maybe I'll do it up here in the head area a little bit more. Up in there. I don't know. I'm not getting much to come through there, so it must be pretty good. See, I'm getting it along the edges up here. I can follow the edge, but I'm not getting much out of the... I was thinking the head had some wax area in it. So, you came online to watch Meri iron paper. Becky says, just waiting for the reheat to finish up. Becky said, leftover New York pizzas for lunch. Ooh, that sounds good. Well, we have some pork cutlets that we need to eat for supper tonight. My brother thawed them out, and I said, let's have pizza. I think that was Wednesday night. And then we had leftover pizza Thursday night, and he was going to have them last night, and we went to Arby's. So we got to eat them tonight. They've been in the refrigerator a couple days. So that's what we're going to have. They're not leftovers, so they should still be good. We freeze. He buys the meat when we go shopping about once a month. Although I think we went twice a month this month. Because I needed to go to the eye doctor. But we didn't go to the grocery store yesterday. It was so late. Well, Yeah, there's a lot of wax buildup on the edges here. Look at that. I can still get wax out of the edge. But in the center here, where's the edge here? Down below here. In the center, I think I got it pretty good because I'm not getting a whole lot of wax coming through. Thank Lizzie Brewer for the encaustic iron. It even says encaustic iron on here. It's the Arts and Crafts iron, encaustic iron, temperature mark. So the Arts and Crafts iron, I don't know the manufacturer, but it's a nice little iron. And I was going to use it for other stuff, and Lizzie said, no, that's an encaustic iron. You use it to do encaustic. Well, this is similar to encaustic, so I got it out. Let's do this one more time in here. Over. They did pull off some wax in the center. I want to do my edge one more time here. Let's do it here. And in there. As long as I can still get a line of wax coming through, I know it's still got wax in the fabric. So, I'm just about ready to bop off here, and this is Saturday. Beth Schuler will be coming on this evening at 6 o'clock Eastern, I believe, which is 5 o'clock my time. And I don't think she was affected much by the hurricane. I think she and Joe, is it Joe? I get mixed up whether it's Joe or Jeff. I think it's Joe. I think they were in a pretty safe area. She could tell you that. But I've been watching her post on Facebook. I'm a member of her group. And she does some fun stuff. I tell Beth, she thinks I'm joking with her, but I'm not. I really mean it. She has her own style. And I keep telling her her art would make really cute postcards that would be fun to send. And she thinks I'm joking with her, but I'm not. I like her style. All right. So let me set this over here on this board. Pull this paper off, and maybe if I zoom out a little, you guys can see the bee. I think I'm going to quit for now. I can still feel a little stiffness in here. I might iron it out a little bit more later. But let me zoom out just a teeny bit so you can see it better. And let me unplug my iron so it will cool off. Hold the phone. I don't like to leave stuff like this plugged in. I leave my laptop plugged in because if I unplug it, it'll lose its charge. But there we go. All right. So I did not intend this to be public, but since it is, we'll just leave it that way. It looks a lot better than when I started. Let me look at chat. Becky says, oh, I never put ketchup on sweet potato fries. I don't either. I like salt and pepper on them. We had crinkle fries at Arby's last night, and they ran out of ketchup in their little dispenser thing. And so I used Arby's sauce on my fries. I dipped my fries in Arby's sauce. And that's kind of spicy. I would rather have ketchup is a little bit sweeter. They had some packets of ketchup, but the pan was getting low and the packets were sticky. And I grabbed a couple, but I didn't even open them because yuck. Fries, fires, fries, fires. What is Batik? Hi, Ninja Riders. Hi, Ninja. I'm not always going to watch you. I'm subscribed to your channel. Batik is where you have like a piece of fabric and you take wax. See all these white areas in here? Before you put any kind of design on it, well, you draw your design. Like I drew this bee. This is a bee, believe it or not. I drew the design on it, and then you take your brush and you put where you want. Like I made all these for the honeycomb. I made all these lines with wax. All these white lines in here was done with wax. And then after you wax the design however you want it, you take your fabric dye. And I put mine in this little cup where I use it for paint and everything. The cup looks dirty. It's just got acrylic paint and stuff in it. It's, well, I put black dye in it this morning, but then you paint your design, and wherever there's wax, it resists. And so if I had black dye on here, the wax would resist it. And well, I guess there was a point in ironing this off, because the more you iron off, the more you see the white fabric. It was white fabric below here. It was a piece like this. This came from Rosemary Morris at the Rusty Peacock. It's just like a cotton piece that she sent me 2 pieces. And but I had coated the whole thing with wax, like what she had said to do in her kit. She has a kit, a Batik kit, and she sent a video with the kit. And the purpose in coating the whole piece in wax, like when I first started, you saw how crunchy it was so that you could wrinkle it all up like this, and I can still wrinkle this, and it still has some wax in there, or it would fall apart easier. So I don't have all the wax out of this yet. But once you crinkle it, then you can coat it with your dye. This is just black fabric dye. You can coat it with your black dye, and the purpose of doing that is you get the texture like you would with when you make crinkles with Elmer's glue and that type of thing. But that didn't seem to work for me so much, but it did work in here real nice. So I was saying earlier that it probably would not have helped to put wax over everything and then iron it off. And as far as the crinkles and getting black dye crinkles, it probably didn't. But when I iron it, it takes all the wax off of where we made our white shapes in here, where the dye wouldn't go through. So 6 of one, half a dozen of another. I don't think I accomplished the crinkles. I'm going to still learn about that. But it's really an art technique on fabric. It's a fabric technique. I think that started in Indonesia, according to Rosemary. But she was telling us that we can tell a batik piece from a printed fabric piece in that when you turn it over, you still see the design. On fabric, that most fabrics that you buy at the fabric store, you don't see a design on the back. You just see white, white threads or whatever the color is. You may see a little coming through, but not so much. So this was a trial piece for me. This was the first batik I've ever done. I would like to have had this a little more round, maybe. I might come in and let's see what I can do with my marker here. I wanted the eye to be a little bit more shady, not so much look like Angie said it looked like an owl. So I colored that in, and, you know, I think I got the legs. Well, I'm going to leave this because this is really the antenna in here. I would have to come in with that dye. This is green dye. This is a leg in here. And it should have little hairs coming out like that. So, you know, you can still do art on this like you would on any art piece, and still see how this is a leg in here. And really, I would want this to have more. It has, on the piece that I was looking at, it had a hairy leg and it had a jointed leg. So you can come in and play with this more. Maybe put some more hairs on this fly's leg. And even, you know, come in and maybe outline your honeycomb a little bit more. Maybe play with the wing in here. You know, there's nothing saying I can't draw on this. This is an art piece. And, you know, this is the wing of the fly. And maybe put little hair marks in here. Makes it look a little more fuzzy. And it's kind of fun, you know, it's just, it's fun to learn. It's fun to learn all this. Get rid of that a little bit more. This had a lot of white streaks when I got the inspiration for this off of Pinterest. And it was just, I think it was an icon. And it had a lot of white streaks going on up here, but it was too detailed for my paint wax. There, I think I'm happier with that. Maybe a little bit more shaping in here. Make the body look a little rounder in here. And get this, maybe the tail coming down a little bit more here. So I'm just playing. I was going to be unlisted, but I guess, I'm sure I set it for unlisted. Maybe when I went to turn on my monetization, which should be on now. Maybe I turned my monetization off and made my video public. So there we go. I have a border here that I wasn't intending. I might just take and let's just ink that border here. Let's paint that border. There's nothing saying I can't. Where's my brush? Let's just put some dye on here. Whoops. See how that's beading up? That has wax on it. That's never, and that's why my crinkles aren't showing. Well, maybe if I work it in. It beaded up though. I guess it's gonna go. Not so much, but it beads up. My dye is beading up on me here, but if I work it in with my brush, it seems to work. That border was folded in. So I didn't get it. When I did the inking on this, I didn't get this border because it was doubled up. So I'm going to have to find out where Rosemary got these squeeze bottles because I like them. I was looking for squeeze bottles on Amazon today and I found a lot of them, but they don't have this top that, let me wipe this off here. They don't have this top that just screws shut. They have a little cap on them. And I want the top that screws, and I want the 8 ounce. So I am going to, what does that mean? Unlisted. Unlisted means when you're doing your video, let's see, Becky says, you can do unlisted lives that nobody can see without an invite. There, Becky told you. You have an option of going public, which anybody can see, which is what I didn't intend, or you can go unlisted. Now, on my laptop, I think you can go private too, or maybe go unlisted and set it to private. I'm not sure. There's also a private setting, but on my mobile phone, I'm streaming on my mobile phone. I only have two choices, public and unlisted. Or private. Yeah, I think that on my, let's move this iron, on my mobile, I only have two choices. I want to get rid of this and put this like, let's just take that completely off. I don't want that black to show on my thumbnail. Let's pull this one off. It's going to show on all of them. Here, let me just pull all this paper off. Now, I had several layers here of papers. I wanted to protect my desktop here. Let me get another sheet, a white sheet out. Hold the phone. I like this packing paper. I like it a lot. And you can either do public later after processing. Yes. And that's what I was planning to do. Well, you know what? It absorbed. Let's just... Since I got it messy here, I probably got it messy on my desktop too. Let's get that ink out of there. I'll just use this for drop paper. I got a lot of, I graded out, but that's okay. I might end up cutting that off anyway. Let me get another. I want a clean sheet for my thumbnail. Or a cleaner sheet. I don't know if I have any clean sheets left. I got a big packet of this. I think I got this at Menards, which is our big bucks hardware store in this area. Sort of like Lowe's. All right. So, there's my bee. And I think I'm going to call this done. And the next one I do, I'm going to do on this. But on this piece, I think I'm going to make a journal like Rosemary did. And so my design is only going to be in this area on the front and this area on the back. And I'll leave. Maybe I'll make a 5x7. I need to leave enough for a border. It might be a 4x7 by the time I get done. So we'll play with it again next week. I have some other things I need to do too. I'm working on Becky's zine box. I need to watch the video for that. I'm working on her Tunisian crochet along. I'm still doing nature stuff. I'm still doing owls. Did Ray D come in? Did Ray D come in? Let me look. Becky says, hi, Ray. Hi, Ray D. I want to thank you so much for the happy mail. I love it. I love it all. So kind of you to send that to me. You and Nancy. Bless your heart. I got happy mail from both of you last week. Thank you, Ray. It was a fun experience. I'm going to work smaller. I think I'm going to read up on batik. I don't know too much about batik or the process of making it. This is what I learned. All right, everybody. I'm going to let you go and have your afternoon. I'm going to go talk to my brother and see if we can't go out to the waterfowl reserve and get some marigolds. Bye, Becky. Have a great weekend. Bye, everybody. Go out, enjoy the beauty of the world. Bye.